My name is Paul Miller, and welcome to the Spotlight on the Charities. In this podcast, I have the great pleasure of featuring Jay Van Vechten. Jay is the Executive Director of the Boating and Beach Bash for People with Disabilities. Jay, thank you for coming on our podcast.
Thank you, Paul, for asking me on.
How long have you been working with people with disabilities?
I started working in my professional career back in 1995. Little did I know then that I would become disabled myself 6 years later. But I had a base of knowledge from that work in those first 6 years that allowed me to take my own disability and parlay it and pay it forward and create something like the Bash.
Why the Bash? What's the connection to the water?
You look at the overall situation globally, not just in this country. There are many services and opportunities for people with disabilities that address the physical side of their issues, but very little looks at the spiritual side. And we thought fun is missing from this equation. And that led us to come up with the idea for creating this event here in Boca Raton over on the beach that would incorporate boats, picnicking, live music, and fun and games. And in the first year, 350 people showed up. Now we're in our 7th year and we're looking at about 5,000 people and 500 volunteers, and we provide a totally free experience that is all about fun and family and caregivers. One of the things we had to do to get the park ready and the docks ready were to bring in people and pieces of equipment that would facilitate accessibility. We tapped into the U.S. Coast Guard. Now, and every year we have 30 uniformed Coast Guard on the docks, helping people on and off wheelchairs onto the boats. And just up on the land side, we have another 30 volunteers from the Coast Guard Auxiliary. For many of these people, Paul, they have never been on the water. They've never been on a boat. And we give them a half hour. Sometimes the captains will open up and give a little speed to the boats, and people just respond so beautifully. We had one mom tell us that her child laughed for the first time in his life while he was on a boat. So we think boating is very much a key element to this overall day. I think one of the things that's been such a delightful discovery, a surprise, is the kindness of this community and how people have stepped to the fore to help us every step of the way. Throughout the day, companies have stepped up and offered us in-kind services. McDonald's provides breakfast along with Publix and Starbucks for our 500 volunteers. And while I mention volunteers, I need to say that they come from area high schools, colleges, universities, civic groups, churches, synagogues, even the Miami Dolphins and the Junior League. And we end up with 500 of them every year. And they work as a team as if they've done it for years. It's remarkable to watch.
Specifically, how can people help your cause?
We receive no funding from the city, from the county, or from the state or federally. Every penny that comes into the Bash comes through companies that are a part of it and from the community at large, which the generosity and kindness of folks is kind of extraordinary. But we need money. There's no question about it. Because we're not federally funded or by government in any way, every penny is a donation, and every donation helps us get closer to providing more and more services for our special needs guests at the Bash.
Thank you once again for taking the time out of your busy day. Well, I am certainly looking forward to the event. Remember, it is March 21st, 2015.
If you would like to appear on one of our podcasts, please make sure to contact us at the address shown. And thanks for watching.